Another building block for 2026 may have been just uncovered. We're going to talk about it here today on Between the Eers. Hello, everybody, and welcome into another episode of Between the Eers. I'm Schuyler Callihan. Make sure to hit that like and subscribe button here on our YouTube page at West Virginia on SI. We greatly appreciate all the support throughout the season. And we have episodes dropping every Sunday, Tuesday, Wednesday through the end of football. And we'll have the Walk Thru GameDay Show tomorrow, previewing the matchup against Arizona State. And then 2 weeks from now, previewing the final game of the year against Texas Tech. And the Mountaineer Postgame Show following every football and men's basketball game. And as I've got some feedback yesterday, seeming like there's a lot of folks that do like the 3 episodes per week. So continue to drop your thoughts in the comment section about how much you'd like to see that after football. If I can do 3, I'll do 3. So let me know what you guys think. If not, I might go to 2. But I do like hearing what you guys think, what you guys want to see. I saw some people talk about women's basketball, some baseball. Some of that stuff, obviously, you can't really go too deep into just because the overall I guess fan interest isn't going to be there, but I'll definitely try my best to hit on some of those things when needed. And as pertaining to the show, we'll go 3 this week, next week, Texas Tech week, and we may even drag it out a little bit into the week of signing day. We'll see, but we'll keep you posted on that. So, anyways, getting to the crux of the show today, Monday. Rich Rodriguez on his radio show may have dropped a little interesting nugget in regards to Jaden Bray. So he was asked about the status of Jaheim and Jaden Bray, who are both obviously out for the season, and where they're at in their recovery. Said both have gotten surgery. They're doing well in their rehab process. And at the very end of his quote, he said something along the lines of he should get that year back and be ready to go in the spring. Didn't say Jaheim, didn't say Jaden, but I'm assuming, and I think many others that cover the team are taking that as Jaden Bray because, well, Jaheim, he can come back anyway. He's only a junior, number one. Number two, he still has both his regular red shirt and his medical red shirt available to him, whereas Jaden does have one red shirt already used. So it's seemingly like he was talking about Jaden Bray. And obviously he's going to have to get a medical waiver. But playing in just 1.5 games or whatever it really was, 1 3/4, I would assume. I don't want to, maybe I shouldn't say assume because we know the NCAA, if you assume anything with them, you know how that ends up. But it's seemingly like he should get this year back. And that would be massive for this offense in 2026 for a variety of reasons. Number one, you don't have to go out and maybe find that number 2 guy opposite of Cam Vaughn right away. Maybe you can take a guy that's can maybe develop into that in a year or two, and you don't have to go out and spend money on that type of player. Now, maybe you still do. Maybe you want to go out there and find a guy that can be the number 2, and you push Jaden Bray to your number 3, and then you have a really good depth there. But I think it's going to allow you to kind of allocate your resources elsewhere, first and foremost. Secondly, in terms of the actual playing, it's going to help out Cam tremendously. And I think that's one of the lost pieces of how this whole thing has unfolded for WVU offensively this year. Everyone just is, every week saying, get the ball to Cam Vaughn, get the ball to Cam Vaughn. Well, it's not that easy, especially when you have press man coverage, you have a safety shaded over top, you've got guys bracketed to his side. They are spending so much time and attention on Cam Vaughn because they don't feel threatened. No disrespect, but they don't feel threatened by Jeffrey Weimer, or they don't feel threatened by Justin Smith-Brown, or even the guys in the slot, whether it's Rodney Gallagher, Gerard Bowie, Christian Hamilton, who's now getting in the mix at wideout. So there's just a level of, I would say, disrespect to the other guys because they don't really care. They're saying, hey, if you go out there and beat us mano a mano, hats off to you. But with Jaden Bray, it completely changes the game because he's a proven guy. He obviously hasn't been able to do much here, but and at his days at Oklahoma State, he could play. He was making some plays for them. So the length, the size, just the overall presence completely changes the dynamic for this offense, but really for Cam Vaughn. And if that does happen and Jaden comes back, you're going to see Cam get some more one-on-one opportunities just simply by the fact that Jaden's back on the field. And again, even if Jaden's not a part of this and for whatever reason he doesn't get cleared to come back for another year, you can go out in the portal and find somebody that's going to do that very same thing. Fill that void. Make sure you have somebody that can challenge a defense vertically. Because right now, I don't know that that's something that West Virginia really has. Now, Weimer has been the beneficiary of a couple of deep shots, but outside of that, it's not like his speed is really going to stress you, right? It's not like he's this home run threat that teams are just spending all week worried about. They know that he can make some plays, but again, it's one of those if you do it, hats off to you type of deals. If Jaden Bray's on the field, yeah, you're gonna have to pay more attention. You're gonna have to play some more coverage in his direction. You're gonna have to kind of pick your poison, if you will, with he and both Cam on the field at the same time. So when you look at some of the pieces that this offense is now starting to put together, here we go throwing this assuming word out there again. But assuming these guys don't go in the portal and they stay put, you're starting to build a nucleus. And this was what we were worried about a few weeks ago because at the time you didn't have an answer at quarterback. You probably had maybe two guys on the offensive line you felt comfortable about, if that. The running back situation you didn't feel good about at all without Ty Edwards until recently where Dior Hubbard has emerged. And all of a sudden, now things have completely changed. Up front, you've got Donovan Haslam, who I'm not so sure is going to be a starter in 2026. I think he's definitely trending that way. But nonetheless, you have a guy in Haslam that he's going to be a part of your rotation at the very, very least. And that's huge for next year's depth because nobody knows what the injury bug's going to do. And next year it could be the offensive line that has 42 injuries. We just don't know. But Donovan Haslam looking like a player that could play and maybe even be a part of that starting lineup next year. So now you got your left tackle with Nick Cray. You got your left guard potentially in Donovan Haslam. You got your center and Lanning Livingston. You need to fill a right guard and right tackle. Is there like this big time recruit out there that they're trying to go after? Well, if there is, he could probably fill in there day one. That's just my hunch. Um, if you know, you know. And then at receiver, Cam Vaughn, Jaden Bray, if he's back. You got Gallagher in the slot. You've got potentially Bowie in the slot as well if he can get another year. So you have some guys there. Jaheim and Dior in the backfield. You've got a quarterback in Scotty Fox. Maybe even a second young quarterback in Clue Wilkins if he decides to stay put. So all of a sudden, this thing looks much, much better. It's not to say they're going to go win 9, 10 games, not to say they're going to be a Big 12 contender, but it's at least building towards something. That's what you absolutely had to have coming out of this season was something that you can build with moving forward. If you came out of this year with the running back room still an absolute mess, the quarterback situation continuing to be a revolving door and no answers, no hope, no signs, no glimpses, no slivers of hope, and you still only had two offensive linemen that showed any signs of anything, that would be very problematic because you'd be spending a lot of time in the portal when you really don't want to be. And Rich has said multiple times, like they're going to sign a very big high school class. That's intentional, and they don't want to have to spend a ton of money in the transfer portal because, look, The reality is the smaller your transfer list is, the more money you're going to be able to spend on those guys. I mean, it's just common sense. Now, if you have to spread that thing out and you're bringing in 25, 30 transfers, well, those dollars are going to get a little thinned out at certain spots. Most of those spots, actually. So getting Jaden Bray back helps you save potentially some money at wide receiver. And it also helps you get the ball to Cam Vaughn more often. And I think it also makes the situation for Cam more appealing to stay put, because now hey, and even if he doesn't come back, like I said, they can go out and fill somebody or find somebody to fill Jaden Bray's spot. But Cam doesn't know who that's going to be. He has seen Jaden Bray in practice. He's seen him in games, albeit just 2, and sees what he can bring. He knows if Jaden Bray's on the field, I'm probably going to have some more opportunities to get open. He's got a young quarterback now starting to look like the part. So not saying that he's ever thought about leaving or has considered it or whatever, but I mean, everybody's a free agent these days. So you got to make the situation appealing to everyone, including Cam Vaughn. And by getting Jaden Bray back, that's really going to help. It's really, really going to help. So, look, I know it was a somewhat shorter episode today, but I felt like there's a lot of different things we could have talked about. Could have talked about the backyard brawl in basketball, which is going to be an interesting game. I'll speak on that here in just a second to maybe drag this out just a few more minutes. But I really wanted to talk about Jaden Bray because I think that is one of the most overlooked pieces of this whole season, in the fact that you didn't have that guy. You didn't have that second guy that can really challenge a defense vertically, that can really put stress on a defense and open things up even underneath for a Rodney Gallagher or Grayson Barnes in the check down game. So his presence will mean a ton. It certainly will. Now, lastly, before I do get out of here, I guess I do want to speak on the backyard brawl just because it's, the backyard brawl, and we don't have another episode airing before that. So huge barometer game for them, and really for both teams. They really haven't played the stiffest of competition, either one of them. So you're going to find out a lot about this team. And the one thing I would advise folks, regardless of how this thing turns out, whether they win by 20, they lose by 20, or somewhere in between, don't put too much stock into the end result. As we noticed last year, backyard brawl, they were not competitive whatsoever up there in Pittsburgh. And I think everybody saw that. They saw the UMass close win and thought, oh boy, it's going to be a long, long year. And I think with these first 3 games, 2 of which are probably a little bit closer than you would like, and the offense has just not been there just yet, there's some concerns. And if you don't win this game against Pitt, or it's a very, very close game and they don't look all that great, then there's going to be concern. So just relax. It's game 4. It's not March. You need to be playing your best basketball in late February and March. And also keep in mind, they're still without 2 key pieces in Chance Moore and Jackson Fields, which they're going to be getting back here soon. Probably going to get Chance Moore back before Jackson Fields. But those guys are huge pieces to what they're doing. And it's going to be a fun atmosphere to see, the Coliseum rocking like that this early on. Should be fun. So check back with us tomorrow night for the Mountaineer Postgame Show. We'll have the recap of that game, what went well, what didn't, and what the Mountaineers need to build on heading into their next game next Monday. And we also have the Walk Thru GameDay Show, as I mentioned, previewing West Virginia, Arizona State tomorrow as well. So a lot coming up here for you on the channel. Make sure to hit that like and subscribe button here on our YouTube page at West Virginia on SI. Greatly appreciate all the support, and we'll see you back here tomorrow. Take care.